Do you want to take control of your financial future but don't know where to start? Noble Gold Investments understands. Investing in precious metals may sound confusing, but the team at Noble Gold Investments makes it easy. Let's hear from actual Noble Gold investment customers. The staff answered all my questions and helped me every step of the way. No pressure sales tactics, just honest guidance. Securing my future is less stressful thanks to Noble Gold expertise. So don't settle for financial uncertainty. They'll suggest options and see if you can diversify into gold and silver. Right now, Noble Gold Investments is offering a free 5-ounce silver America the Beautiful bullion coin for qualified accounts. Don't settle for financial uncertainty. Noble Gold Investments has an A+ rating with the Better Business Bureau and countless 5-star reviews. Why wait? Go to noblegoldinvestments.com now. noblegoldinvestments.com. The gold company I trust.
Hey, Inspire Tribe, my fellow freedom lovers. How's it going? Welcome to see you all. Thank you so much for tuning in to an Inspired live stream. We apologize in advance for potential internet problems. It has been a little bit of a hassle all over the place, actually. We tried many different setups, and it is the internet itself. I know there's a lot going on. There are electromagnetic influences, but there are other influences as well. So that being said, we're healthy, we're wealthy, we're whole, we're free. We're excited that you're here with us, dear friends. This is the journey that we're on. This is the day that we're living in. And before we go deeper into this, I just want to say that we're so grateful, Christine and I, for to have you on this journey with us. And to feel your presence and everything. Hey, Todd, good to see you. Tony, good to see you. Karen, good to see you. Karen. So let's jump into it. It starts. There you go. Paula already, a slight shot. Stick around, Paula. This might make more sense in a little bit. So this live stream and everything that's going to come from it is going to trigger a lot of people. The old saying applies: you can't get triggered if you're not loaded. The New Age Church of Love and Light, the Ultimate Cult. That's the title of this. Now, why rock the boat? Well, I have noticed a pattern throughout my life. And the pattern was this. There is a place, there's always a place where you're not supposed to look for truth. And in order for you not to look there, there are certain distractions in front of you. If those distractions do not fulfill their purpose and you still look, well, then whoever wants to run this show, or whatever entity force wants to run this show, is in trouble. Because when you look and you find truth and you experience truth, well, you begin to become uncontrollable. But then, you look in that place, and then what do you look for next? Wait. If I found this truth and everything else I've been told was a lie, what is the solution? So, conveniently, there are solutions out there that are predefined and that are already explained and that are already fully mapped out, so you don't have to do a whole lot of digging and researching for yourself or finding them for yourselves. And in the past, until probably in the last 50, 60 years, religion was literally the strongest solution to all the potential questions of life. And within the last 100 years, maybe a little more, a new religion, a new cult was slowly but surely ushered in, what some people refer to as the New Age, or spiritualism, or whatever you want to call it. And within that huge spectrum of New Age, a lot of, like with every other religion, a lot of truths have been put in there, and then half-truths, and then flat-out lies. Because why? The people that are disillusioned with the faith they were brought up in, and there are a lot, they are disillusioned with Judaism, they're disillusioned with Islam, they're disillusioned with Christianity or Hinduism, and then they go and say, wait, I'm not accepting that there is no God. I'm not feeling this here, what I've been taught. This is not a judgment, by the way. This is just an observation explanation. So then they have this new age thing. And this new age thing comes with a lot of perks. One of the biggest perks that the new age spiritualism, spiritology, whatever you want to call it, gives is, and I've heard this line so many times, I could barf. There is no right or wrong. There's just what you feel. There is no good or bad. These are just human labels. These are some of the same people that are now horrifically abusing children, castrating them. They are projecting their own mental illness and unhealed trauma onto their children, and are pushing for their mutilation. There is no right or wrong. There is no good or bad. This is all just your truth. Whatever you feel is right. It's just love and light. Just send them love and light. Oh, this person has committed horrific crimes on children. No, no, we shouldn't remove them. No, no. Just they are on their journey and we are on ours. I am being sarcastic, and I am overplaying some of these platitudes for a reason. Because this new age cult has captured millions and millions and millions of minds and hearts, and it is just another way of controlling your perception and controlling your decision and making process and controlling your emotions. The new age cult was the most surprising group of people to fully jump on board with. Not everybody. I'm I shouldn't say but to a large extent, that fully jumped on board with all the mandates throughout the last years, with all the suggestions, with all the masking the children, everything. They fully jumped on board. I have known these people. I have been in and out of these communities. I've known certain private school systems. We've been in all of that. Those were the people who were brave to question the narrative before, who were breaking out of the bondage of the old religions, and literally were the worst when all this started. Some of the people I personally know were the worst in ostracizing and in what they threw at people who were questioning the narrative. Anything that wasn't within the realm of CNN or the equivalent in your country. The reason why I'm bringing this up is because this new age cult is supposed to be ultimately, in a enhanced and a slightly altered version, the savior religion for the whole world. That is the plan. The plan is to break down all the old religions, Christianity, Judaism, Hinduism, Islam, and all the other smaller religions, and to move everybody into this ultimate fake love and light religion, because it's not real love and light. In my experience, the people who we had a relationship with, or we did some sort of business with, or they purchased a product from us or a service or whatever, the people who were too spiritual to pay their bills were always the new agers, by the way. That's just a too spiritual thing to actually hold up my end of the bargain, or the moon wasn't in the right whatever. And again, I am being sarcastic for a reason, because this is the trap that people that break out of one control system fall into another control system. And I want to make one thing abundantly clear. I do believe that religion, the way we're experiencing it today and have been for the recent history, is a control mechanism. Does that mean that everything in that religion is wrong? Not at all. Not at all. Not at all. What I'm saying is that these some religions have been simply created for the purpose of dividing and controlling people, but we have a lot of truths in there. What I'm having a beef with, and what I've always had a beef with, is that almost every major religion, or every major religion, is not encouraging you or me or anyone for that matter to have a real one-on-one conversation with our prime creator, with the all that is creator. There's always a translator, there's always a book, there's always a narrative where I have to put my mind into that box. We inherently know that such things as good or bad, or good or evil, right or wrong, exist. There are moral prerogatives in our reality. And when we cross those lines, people with a spirit feel it. You know you've crossed the line. You know that lying, cheating, stealing, murdering, you know these things. And if you do not know these things, and if you have no empathy, if you have no conscience, if you have no emotional consequence from an action that is harming another, then you are most likely not a real human being. You don't have a spirit, or you have been heavily mind controlled, one of the two. But ultimately, we are being discouraged, and have been for a very long time, to sharpen our antennas and to actually activate our antennas that we were given by our creator. Because let me ask you this: would a loving, all-knowing, all-encompassing, all-able creator create a being and then not give that being the ability to have a conversation or be in communication with that creator and say, no, here's the thing, you can't hear me, you will never be able to hear me, I'm hidden behind the clouds somewhere, but here's one book, it's all in that book. If you can't read, too bad for you. If you're blind, too bad for you. If you're blind and deaf, too bad for you. You can't. That cannot be the truth. Logically speaking, that cannot be the truth. And that's just something I inherently know not to be the truth. Although I also know that in that book, there's a lot of truth, a lot of truth. What I have seen, especially in this new age cult, is more than anything is the unwillingness to apply this spirituality to anything practical, to live it and actually bring it to the equation. We have a perceptual 3D reality all around us that we cannot simply ignore. We have to do something within it, but actually what we're doing, and if we're doing it in the right way, we will break it apart and actually return to what the prime creator had intended for us. Because this world, trust me, this world that we're living in, this perceptional 3D reality, is not created by the prime creator. It's not created by the one and only God. I can rest assured it isn't. Now, it's been said many times that it is a bad copy. That means that in many ways it is simulating or artificially recreating I believe, much richer, deeper, and more expanded Earth, if you will. But the idea is that this new age cult will become the one religion to rule over the world, and it will include all these ideas that they have been putting out into the world, some of which are very correct and some of which are very, very wrong. I've often made jokes about the Love and Light Brigade because it's their answer to everything. It's just love and light. And they are never the ones who are actually willing to go and do some very practical and spiritual things. Because hear me out. Recently, we posted about a new law that has gone into effect in Florida, and that new law that's gone into effect says that pedophiles, acting pedophiles, so people that actually go through with their sick and perverted fantasy, and in the most horrific, violent way, abuse a child, that these people will be subject to the death penalty, which a lot of people thought was a great thing. But then there was the Love and Light Brigade, and they were violently opposed to that idea, and they sent us very, very mean messages. How could we? And this is, you are not you're not a conscious being. You don't have expanded awareness. And I call such bullshit on that. And that's why some of the most important changes haven't happened yet in our physical experience, because people are unwilling to actually draw a line in the sand and say this far and not further. These are the people who are saying, oh, someone's breaking into your home, endangering your family, but they're probably just poor. They were just they were disenfranchised. They were disadvantaged by society. It's just material stuff. What does it matter? No. Hell no. There is right and there's wrong. There's crossing lines. And the inability, the spiritual bypassing that these people are, a journey that these people are on, and I'll explain what that means, stops them from actually being the change that they want to see in the world. Somebody who is violating children needs to be gone. Ultimately gone. Come on. You know this to be true. Why would we keep someone like that around and run the risk that they violate another child on this earth? Why would we do that? There is no legitimate reason to do that. You cross that line, you pay the price. That to me is the most spiritual thing that you can do for everybody involved. They'll have their chance to do whatever they need to do. The spiritual bypassing thing is actually the thing that keeps us mostly in a loop, rather than us actually evolving and expanding beyond this matrix. And spiritual bypassing means, and this is a practice that's all over the New Age Church of Love and Light cult, is you take meditation and you take scripting and you take affirmations and you take some of the very most powerful practices that we have to make that connection with the creator, and you use them, misuse them, abuse them, if you will, in order to move around the unhealed pain of your life or the difficult situation in your life, and not actually walk through that storm and heal whatever needs healing. That's spiritual bypassing. That's people who they go from one seminar to the next, from one program to the next. They watch a million videos, and all they want to do is distract themselves from their trauma, pain, unhealed things, and use these practices to feel better. Now, there's nothing wrong about wanting to feel better, but in that, because the trauma that is unhealed and the pain that is unhealed is so is pushing harder and harder, it wants to be seen and healed, and so in that they become so radical that they will say, you are not supposed to look at the truth. You're not supposed to speak the truth. Why are you sharing this dark information? If you put your attention on these child trafficking rings and on this huge worldwide business, with your attention, by just looking at it, you are perpetuating it. You're making it bigger. Just don't pay attention to it and it will go away. That is the twisted, mind-controlled Church of Love and Light. Literally, I've heard this over and over again, that if we just don't look at the problem, it will cease to exist. Really. Now, how has that worked out for the past God knows how many hundreds and thousands of years? Because the problem's just getting bigger and people haven't been looking at it. People have been kept in the dark about it. Does that help these children, women? It's a spiritual bypassing technique, and if we use, to speak in a more traditional religious way, if we use prayer for that particular reason, it's the same thing. We just immerse ourselves into prayer to not deal with the problem at hand. But guess what? We have all these capabilities. We have a brain, we have a heart, we have all these capabilities to actually solve these problems that we are facing. But we need to take that spiritual connection and apply it to our physical reality here and apply it to our decision-making processes and stop beating around the bush. So this is just another cult that has more of the feel-good goodies. It isn't as restrictive, right? And it basically says whatever feels right for you is okay. But what if somebody says, well, for me, it really feels right to go after that girl over there because that's just what feels right to me. How can that be wrong if I feel that way? Can you see the fallacy in that? And do you also know that feeling isn't feeling, that feeling has many different layers to it? There's the bodily feeling, the programmed feeling, the instinct-driven feeling. The lower instinct-driven we are, the more we just react out of those lower survival instincts. And then there is a real spiritual feeling, which has a connection to spirit, which absolutely knows how to distinguish between right and wrong. Absolutely. There's no doubt about it. Everybody with a real connection with the Creator knows what's right and what's wrong. I've never met a person where I could feel that spirit within them that didn't know exactly what was right or wrong or questioned that. And then in this new age spirituality, the feeling becomes the God. The feeling becomes the God. Whatever you want to do, you want to cut off that boy's penis because you think he should be a girl, or he said once, "I want to be a girl," and that's okay. You block their hormones and you don't allow them to go through a natural journey, and that is okay because what? Because you feel that way? Come on, folks. We got to grow up. We got to absolutely grow up. And these love and light messages, that's not real love and that's not real light. That's fake love and fake light. Everything that exists in the prime reality, in the real reality, has been copied and dumbed down and put into a greater state of density. And so there is the appearance of love and light, and then there is real love and light. The thing is, real love and light is a very deep and clear expression. It has no confusion. It is very, very clear in its expression. This new age love and light is very selective. It is very subjective. It changes from day to day, and there's a darkness and an evil that's oftentimes attached to it. So the message here is, the overall message here is, and I know this is not going to be popular, but there is not a religious stream or spiritual stream that is even remotely mainstream, including the big ones, that is actually aimed at letting people experience the true connection with God, including Christianity. And that, I know a lot of my friends, they don't like that about me, and that's something that because they can't fathom that it's possible that what they have been taught and what they have read in the Bible might not be the full truth. Because they can't fathom that even this part can be manipulated and has been manipulated. And yes, the Bible has been heavily manipulated. That's not hard to really find out. But let's just say that we have no ill intent, but what we do have is centuries and millennia of translations of different people making mistakes, misinterpreting words, misinterpreting meanings, languages that function on completely different basis. I mean, you take Aramaic, you take Greek, you take Latin, you take German and English, and I happen to be able to speak on some of those languages. Um, I actually studied Latin for 4 or 5 years. I actually studied Italian for 8 years. I actually speak some of those languages, not Aramaic, but I can tell you that Latin is not a lived language anymore. So it stopped its evolutionary process, whatever it was, a long time ago. And the Bible has been going just like any other book or any other piece of literature through these translations, interpretations. Stuff has been pulled out of it. The Catholic Church had its great influence on that. So how can we base our complete life on this one book and what's between the two covers, and not question whether there's more to the story, or whether there's a greater truth, or whether there are parts that have been hidden? And we are at this stage, all of us, where we simply need to be able to question that and question ourselves and our own perception and grow in that. I'm not saying throw the baby out with the bathwater. That's not what I'm saying. But give yourself permission to look beyond. And most importantly, if you are being discouraged from making that connection yourself with your creator, if you're discouraged from having that one-on-one conversation in deep prayer, deep meditation, if your religion discourages you, if they call that's demonic, I hear God's voice, oh, you're blasphemous. If you're discouraged from that, look deeper, ask greater questions. You shouldn't be discouraged from that. You shouldn't be. You really shouldn't be. I'm not saying everything you hear is God's voice. What I'm saying is go on the journey. Go on the journey. You will know. And beware of the fake light, because the love and light thing, it's going to be the theme for this fake religion, and they will project it heavily, and they will project it with all of their abilities that they have, that are the capabilities, technologically speaking, are unbelievable. And we have only one weapon. It's not a weapon, but we have only one absolute overriding power that overrides everything else, and that is our consciousness. And for as long as it is kept within a certain spectrum and doesn't expand beyond that, we will not be able to actually bring the real solutions to the table. That is the journey. To give yourself permission to go beyond this spectrum. A lot of the, or some of the Christian mystics or saints or just very enlightened people that I've studied have done exactly that. They have remained Christians, self-proclaimed Christians, throughout their lives, but what they have brought back in terms of experience and recollection from their one-on-one conversations was oftentimes contradicting. And when it is contradicting, then but still impactful, then these people usually call it prophets. So if we lose all the definitions, lose all the words, lose this box, and simply give ourselves permission to go as deep and as far as possible in a one-on-one conversation, I think we really can turn this ship completely around. I really think that is the key. I always thought that's the key. And in that, we experience real love and real light. And then let me tell you this. The difference between dark and light dissipates because it becomes one again. Because ultimately, it all originates from the same source, right? As you know, this world was not created by the prime creator, but ultimately, the fallen angels, right? All these, these words, the disguided entities that created this back copy here, this matrix. Ultimately, it's all from the same source. It couldn't be any other way. All right. This was the discourse for today, and I know this is triggering. People are not going to like me because I've just said no box is the right one. Which box should I check? None. Don't check a box. Step outside of the box. Lose the damn box. You are not a box. You are potentially, in your full expression, infinite awareness. An individual expression of infinite awareness. And that's what we need to return to. Alrighty, my friends. Much love, many blessings. We love you, we appreciate you. We'll be back with you again very, very soon.